Hello there, gremlins. Okay, that's not as good as Obi-Wan, but still. If you watch to the end of my Darth Maul video, I did the big Kenobi kind of thing that Maul does periodically throughout Clone Wars. I think he even does it in Rebels. He does it a lot. But I did finish all those Darth Maul books, and then I kind of took a day because I needed to edit, and I had physical therapy, and if you notice, I don't have gauze on. So, hi, my name is Catherine. If you are new to this channel, I was in a snowblower accident in February, and I'm wearing gauze on these two fingers, these two right here, all the time. I don't have to do that anymore in my house. So there are a couple caveats. So I won't be wearing them in many of the clips because at home I don't have to wear them. And if I go out, I actually only have to put gauze on my middle finger right now because there is an unhealed scab. It's very small, but my physical therapist was like, put it on if you're leaving the house. So I have that, and then at night while I'm asleep, I have to wrap them in this stuff called Coban. It's a bandage. It's like sticky. I'm sure you've seen it. It's like an adhesive bandage that you like wrap. Those go on me at night to help with starting to shape my scar tissue so that I can get these like reusable sleeves at a certain point. We tried to put them on yesterday and my middle finger is too swollen still at the tip, so it needs a little help. And then my ring finger has a nail attached, and I'm not going to hold them up to you because they are still a little scabbed, and like the middle finger doesn't actually look bad from the back, and the ring finger doesn't look that bad either, but the ring finger does have a nail on it that needs to fall off. So if you notice that I have a fingernail on that finger, the one currently there is only attached kind of. So I had part of a fingernail still in my body, like there after the accident, and so my surgeon used that piece of nail to create what is called a spacer for your nail bed to make sure that my nail bed would still exist. So he like kind of moved it up and he stitched it. The problem is now my new nail is pushing it up and up and up, like, so it's growing in quotes. It looks like it's growing. Now it's long and it's annoying, but it's supposed to just gonna come out when it's ready. Because there's another nail coming along that's actually growing correctly. So currently I have a nail. Looks goofy, but I have one. And I think if you looked at it straight on, you'd just be like, oh, she must have hurt her nail from the back. No, it's a little weird, but after giving you this very brief update, I'm not going to go in depth on them. I just wanted to tell you I don't have gauze on, but you may see gauze if I'm out and about, or you may see wraps on them if it's late at night and I'm getting ready for bed. So I'm not wearing an Obi-Wan shirt. I am wearing this fun Grogu shirt. I think it says The Bounty on the back. I'm wearing this today because I want to wear a Grogu shirt. I just felt like it. But this entire vlog is going to be Obi-Wan themed books. One is an Obi-Wan Anakin book, but all Obi-Wan specific. So the first book in this vlog, because I'm going in chronological order of story. So the first book we'll be reading is Kirsten White's Padawan, which is, oh, I still have my receipt in here, like my checkout slip. Okay. No one said being a Padawan would be easy, but should it be this hard? Jedi Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi is newly apprenticed to his master Qui-Gon Jinn and can't help wondering if their pairing was a mistake. Obi-Wan excels at lightsaber duels, but Qui-Gon wants to focus on meditation. While other Padawans join their masters on exciting off-planet missions, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan stay put on Coruscant. Then Obi-Wan discovers clues pointing to unfinished Jedi business on a mysterious planet and convinces Qui-Gon that they should investigate. But the morning they are to leave, Qui-Gon is nowhere to be found. Angry and hurt, Obi-Wan takes off alone, determined to fulfill the mission. I'm going to stop there. There's a little bit more, but this is the first one I'll be reading because he is a Padawan. Now, Kirsten White has written a number of YA books. I have not read any of them. I have read Hyde, but the graphic novel version of Hyde. I've read Mr. Magic, and I've read Lucy Undying. So I've read some of her adult fiction, horror, sort of horror. We'll go with sort of horror. I am very curious to read this one because I believe this is her only Star Wars book. There are some people who literally just like write one Star Wars book, they get contracted for it, and then Star Wars just doesn't decide to do more books with them solely because this is what they wanted from them, and that's all they needed. So this is her only Star Wars book, and I'm very curious about young Obi-Wan. Now I am going to show you the other ones with no descriptions. So that's the first book. That's the book I will be reading next, like immediately when I get time. I'll then be reading Brotherhood, which comes highly recommended from Erin Megan. She really liked this one. Again, I'll read you the description when I actually get to it. And then the final book in this vlog is just called Kenobi. And this is set much later, I believe after, it's even like a little ways after the prequel trilogy. So those are the books for this vlog. It'll be those 3 Obi-Wan books, and I'm very excited to read them. I don't really have like specific like dress plans. Like for Maul, I did an actual Maul outfit and like Maul makeup for May the 4th, but this time I'm just gonna be reading, showing off some Star Wars shirts, drinking some Star Wars coffee. I'm gonna take you to make coffee with me real quick because I'm gonna have Star Wars coffee in a mug that matches my shirt. Then what else? Brain. Oh, Krista and I are watching Bad Batch, and we are now almost halfway through season 3, which, oh, that show reminds me so much of Clone Wars, but it's like, it is so good. We are like so invested. It's all we have watched since like May the 3rd, possibly. I don't know. We started it before the 4th, but we've been plowing through it. I'm gonna be sad when it's over. We do have another few shows to watch. I want to check out Acolyte. Krista was like, yeah, it's fine. We can try it. It got canceled after a season, so, but I want to see it. Then, sorry, I also have asthma. So I have a hand thing, I have asthma. There will be weird things in this video. Acolyte, and then Skeleton Crew season 1, because I think season 2 is coming out. I also really want to watch this thing that came out about Asajj Ventress. It's like a shorts thing. I don't know. I'm just very excited for it. So we're gonna watch that too. And we'll be watching other stuff before the month is over, but like we've been picking TV shows that we haven't watched yet or are behind on that are Star Wars themed, and we're going to watch those. But I gotta go. I'm gonna bring you with me to make coffee, and then I have to start my work day. So let's go make Star Wars coffee. All right, so this is the cup. Protect. Oh wow, it's protect, attack, take naps. Can you tell I haven't had coffee yet? So this is the cup I'm using today, and then I was drinking Dark Side truffle coffee during the Darth Maul video and in my Revenge of the Sith one, but I'm gonna be drinking Wookiee cookie for this one. If I can get it to open. I'm notoriously bad at opening these boxes. All right, is this one gonna come out? It's like tipping. There we go. So Wookiee cookie, this is by Bones. It's supposed to taste like, if it focuses, chocolate chip cookies. It's not gonna focus. But yeah, it is called Wookiee cookie, and I've had it before. I have had both of these flavors before, just as like bag coffee, but hopefully this one is good. I liked the K-cup of the Dark Side chocolate truffle that has Vader on it. It's very fun. More in the K-cup form than I did in the bag. So, so you can see the art because you couldn't really see it. All right, but I'm gonna make coffee, head to work. I will fill you in when I have Kenobi news for you. Hello, gremlins. It is a little bit after work, but you were already set up here. Like I put you up here assuming I would do an update, and I was like, oh, well, I'll just film that in here. I have actually finished Padawan. So I read this during lunch, and then I read for a little bit after work. This is YA and not, I don't feel like super overly complicated. So I have read, as I noted, a few things by Kirsten White before, and I do think she's a good storyteller, but she has a tendency, in my opinion, this is solely my opinion, she's very heavy on like, not explanation, but just like a little bit heavy on like character setup in the beginning of her work. So sometimes the plot is a bit slow because she's really just focusing on like presenting you with the whole world and not all the characters' internal thoughts, but like at least your main character's internal thoughts. So we're getting a lot of what Obi-Wan is thinking, and a lot of things Obi-Wan is consistently coming back to throughout the story. So there's not a ton of action to me until the very end. And this I feel is very consistent across the things I have read from her, where like everything is kind of a bit slow going, can take a bit. We're getting introductions of characters, but like it takes a while for everything to get established and for us to move into like, oh, this is the big action plot that we're looking for. So I already read you the part of the synopsis. I will point out that on the back of this, there is an excerpt from the book that I like glossed over, like I didn't even see it. So what happens in this is Obi-Wan is kind of questioning his connection to Qui-Gon, like if they're really working well together, because Qui-Gon is more like meditating and he wants to be more actiony. kind of, the setup of this feels very like Anakin Obi-Wan. Like Obi-Wan in this is very Anakin-like, Qui-Gon is very Obi-Wan-like, and it's that Qui-Gon is more focused on like his own sort of peace, his own connection to the Force, and he wants to instill that in his Padawan. We also learn a bit more about how they came to be Padawan and Master, and that kind of surprises Obi-Wan. And we're getting a lot of Obi-Wan being like, I don't know if I'll ever be a Jedi Knight. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know. There's a lot of that consistently. Obi-Wan like questioning whether he can be a Jedi Knight, whether he should be a Jedi Knight, whether he's a good Jedi, whether he's a bad Jedi, whether he's gonna get thrown out. Like there's a lot of him questioning like, am I good enough? Am I doing enough? And this is a YA book, so this does make sense. He is 16, so this is like teenage YA. He is very much questioning, and a lot of the start of this book for a consistent period of time is him being like, I don't know if I'm really cut out for this, like I don't know if I'm doing this right, I think I'm failing. Like it's a lot of him very focused on like how he is doing poorly as a Jedi. And what happens is he wants to go on a mission, Qui-Gon approves it. They haven't told the council about it because Qui-Gon's like, they don't need to know everything. And then it winds up that Obi-Wan goes on the mission alone. He winds up on a planet, and it's on the back called, oh gosh, I just saw it. Where is that word? It starts with an L. And I wanted to look at it. Lunara, I think. So Lunara is a very green seeming planet. And he's there trying to understand something that kind of called to him, he says. There's a lot of stuff in the Jedi Temple. And one of these things was like a carving, and there was a Jedi's name under a planet. And it turns out this is like a Jedi Wayfinder. This person went out and kind of did their own thing, reported back to the Jedi Council. And so Obi-Wan wants to know more about this planet. Now he winds up going to this planet with a very cool droid. And this planet is interesting. So the planet itself seems to have some kind of power, and it is referred to by the people he meets as power. Now, what's interesting is the people he meets are all children. They are roughly his age, if not younger. And it turns out that they're people who are on this planet with their families, but everyone is gone. And it all gets very, like, should you follow blindly what people are telling you? Should you continue doing something if it may be hurting you ultimately? So there's a lot of this acknowledging adults and the teaching of adults and following what adults are telling you, and then understanding if maybe you should push back or if maybe you should think for yourself. And that is something that consistently exists in Kirsten White's books. She is a former Mormon. I know she was raised Mormon, so I will stick with that. And I feel like there's a lot in her books about confronting beliefs that were instilled on you as a child, even into adulthood, by figures of authority, and then trying to figure out how to contend with that, how to look past that, through that, take that and make it your own. And so a lot of that is growth. So what we see are growth in the characters that Obi-Wan meets against what has been instilled by their parents. And then we also see Obi-Wan growing and kind of being like, oh, maybe this meditation thing isn't so bad. Maybe I can be more one with the Force. Maybe I am not a bad Jedi. And so there's just a lot of this like coming to terms with what you've been taught and seeing how you can use what you know or use things that you have developed to become a better you. I'm also barefoot and I'm totally stepping on this like rest mat thing under my desk, and I feel like it's making a lot of noise. But the book is a bit slow for me. Like I was like not plotting and I was not intentionally like skimming, but there were some scenes I was like, okay, I get it. So I was reading pretty quickly. YA I read pretty quickly anyway. So I did read a teeny bit before work, a lot during lunch, and then I like finished up after work pretty quick. And so again, it's YA, the font's big. There's a lot of skipped pages in this. Like there'll be scenes where there's just like multiple pages, like a couple of pages with no text, and like a page with like a teeny bit of text and then a chapter. It just, the page count is weird to me. But yeah, so we do wind up, it's just, the book feels a lot like, how do you take what you know or have been taught and use that to become a better you, or how do you think independently while acknowledging what you've been taught? It's very consistent in just everything I've read from her. Even though it hasn't been a lot. I'm so sorry, I'm coughing. But she also does love a big cast of characters. So in Hyde, even reading the graphic novel, there are a lot of characters, and I guess in the book it does get confusing for that, is what I've heard. Once I read the graphic novel, I was like, oh, I'm not reading the book, which does not normally happen, but in that case I just didn't. In this, there is a big cast of characters. Once you get, like, at the temple, there are a lot of Padawans you randomly meet, and then there are people and beings on this planet that you meet, so they all kind of get set up, and the ones on the planet get more explanation, but there are still a lot of them, and some don't really even have big parts. They just like cause an action moment, or they cause a situation that has to be resolved. And there are different species on the planet, like they're all like random people who have wound up here. And so there's is it Nautilans, like Plo Koon. There are some of those. Is it Plo Koon? No, it's Kit Fisto. Kit Fistos, I like Kit Fisto. And then two characters have like snaky tendril hair, and then someone is a shapeshifter. And there is a queer romance in this, very briefly mentioned, between the kind of head woman in charge, who's also a teenager. I think she's like Obi-Wan's age. She is with the shapeshifter, whose name it has a hyphen in it, and for the life of me I cannot. It's like I'm not even gonna try. My brain is soup when it comes to these characters, but I found the book enjoyable. I think young readers would like it, and I feel like her YA books have a very big, like a lot of people love her YA books. I do think this is too long for a YA Star Wars book. I think some of the planet setup could have been cut or maybe done a bit differently. There's also a tease of like something to come throughout, and I'm like, hey, did I need that? No. And that's what caused the weird pages in certain spots where I was like, why is it like 2 blank pages and then this and then another blank page? So that was weird, but I do think it works. It really feels like a book that's set up to be like, Anakin and Obi-Wan are very similar to young Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. Like, that's what it feels like to me. And I was like, that's fun as a comparison, but I also kind of want Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to have a different relationship than that, because that's what their relationship seemed different. Because this Obi-Wan is very much like, I am very focused on lightsabers and doing lightsaber things. And I'm like, okay. But also the Obi-Wan we know is a negotiator and like has come to like learn different things. And this is young him, so I get it. But I'm also like, I never really saw Obi-Wan as just like a, like only lightsaber stuff. Like and it's a weird thing that's like his personality in this. He does mention negotiating, but he's like, we should negotiate. I'm like, well, that's good. You do try and negotiate as an adult. But it just seemed odd that like he is a bit more Anakin in this, and I mean I get it, but also like he's not super Anakin-y in Phantom Menace, so I don't know. It was a fine book. I saw a lot of similarities to the other things I read from Kirsten White, where it was like similar in like plot layout, in theme, but I would still recommend it. I would say it's a younger reader book. I don't know that adult readers would really get a ton out of this, because it is a lot about like, as a teenager, how do you cope with synthesizing information for your life. So I'm done with that one, and I don't think tonight, because I've already done some reading tonight and I would like to just relax a bit with my wife. But the next one is Brotherhood, which I'm very excited about. This is by Mike Chen, and I will give you a brief part of this. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker must stem the tide of the raging Clone Wars, forge a new bond as Jedi Knights. The Clone Wars have begun. Battle lines are being drawn throughout the galaxy, with every world that joins the Separatists, the peace guarded by the Jedi Order slipping through their fingers. After an explosion devastates Cato Nemoda, oh, I may have said that wrong, the jewel of the Trade Federation, the Republic is blamed and the fragile neutrality of the planet is threatened. The Jedi dispatch Obi-Wan Kenobi, one of the Order's most gifted diplomatic minds, to investigate the crime and maintain the balance that has begun to dangerously shift. As Obi-Wan investigates with the help of a heroic Nemoidian, I think, guard, he finds himself working against the Separatists who hope to draw the planet into their conspiracy. And he senses the sinister hand of, Asajj Ventress in the mists that cloak the planet. Amid the brewing chaos, Anakin Skywalker rises to the rank of Jedi Knight. Despite the mandate that Obi-Wan travel alone and his former master's insistence that he listen this time, Anakin's headstrong determination means that nothing can stop him from crashing the party and bringing along a promising but conflicted youngling. Once a Padawan to Obi-Wan, Anakin now finds himself on equal but uncertain footing with the man who raised him. The lingering friction between them increases the danger for everyone around them. The two knights must learn a new way to work together, and they must learn quickly to save Cato Nemoidia, I think, and its people from the fires of war. To overcome the threat they face, they must grow beyond master and apprentice. They must stand together as brothers. All right, I'm gonna go. I will talk to you at some point when I have to update Gremlins. But yeah, you're already here, so I left you here. I'll try and update you in a different room tomorrow. Maybe I'll have you make coffee with me first thing so that we're not just in my office. But I will talk to you later about this very intriguing Brotherhood book, Gremlins. Good morning. If you hear a bunch of kitchen noises, it's because I'm in the kitchen. We have a water purifier thingy that is running, and there's music playing in the living room for the dogs, but I am here because I'm making soup. So I have to get the soup in the crock pot. So I'm going to tell you why I'm actually filming me making soup. This is technically the Tapato soup recipe from the Galaxy's Edge cookbook, which I left upstairs. I made this in another video, but the regular recipe calls for chopped onions. This is last time, so I'm just putting it in here. Chopped onions and chopped potatoes, and you're actually supposed to make it like on your stove, like very standard soup. But you see, with my hand injury, I didn't want to cut things, and I'm still not great with a knife, even though I don't have to gauze my hand anymore. Oh, I got ice on my finger. Whew. So what I'm doing instead is a variation on the soup using a recipe my mom used to do, combined with that one. So the basic ingredients for mine are a container of guacamole salsa. It is 15 ounces. Then container of broth. I don't use all the broth, and you can use vegetable or chicken. I use vegetable. And then milk. And I use that instead of heavy cream because this is a heavy cream recipe and it doesn't need it. And then I just put some olive oil in the bottom. So I've already put some potatoes and onions in. But so the recipe in the cookbook. So they've never made it at Galaxy's Edge, even though it's in the Galaxy's Edge cookbook, or at least not to my knowledge. It may have been a test recipe, but it's so hot at Florida, I'm guessing they decided against soups. So the recipe itself, oh, I did not cut that well. Go back in. The recipe itself is smaller, so it makes less. So I normally like double it anyway. But it's really just potatoes, onions. It says green salsa, and that's why I use this like spicy salsa, because Krista likes a spicier salsa. We've done it with other green salsas. Oh, this bag does not want to cut. And Krista doesn't like them as much. So I'm going with this one. And then these are hash brown potatoes, like frozen ones. And I'm using them. Actually, I'm gonna stop there. I need to put, yeah. I need to put the green salsa in, which is gonna be loud. And Goose is gonna hate it. Oh gosh. Goose scared herself. She was playing with a piece of plastic. Alright. Oh, nice. And I pour in this entire thing. That's why I was like, oh, I need to actually get that in here. Do that. Work these potatoes better. That should work a little better. Alright. Then potato avalanche. There are now potatoes all over my counter. It's fine. I do need to clean them up though. But I have a bag. Look at that. I poured too much into the crock pot. There's like a big hunk of frozen potato. They kind of look like potato sticks, if you ever had those. Ooh, awkward potato time. I actually need most of this potato in here. Just gotta elegantly move it around a little. Elegant, elegant. We're so elegant. Making our crock pot potato soup. Alright, let's get a little bit more just so I have room for the broth and the milk. And because it's a crock pot recipe, you actually need more liquid than normal. So I think that should be okay. Hopefully. I don't want to take too much out because I still want it to be potatoey. Alright. Potatoes, potatoes. Alright. Put that over there. Alright. I'm eyeballing the milk. So I'm just gonna pour milk in. Alright, give that a sec. Should be enough. And I had an open thing of broth, but it's been open for too long. So I just opened the other one. And then it's like a cup of broth. Get that in there. You just need plenty of liquid. I'm gonna add a little more milk so that the crock pot doesn't dry out. There. Oh, that's probably a little bit too much. That's fine. Where's my lid? Lid? I've lost my crock pot lid. There it is. Find my lid. Alright, so that is situated. I need to plug it in. So we're gonna get real close, because the only plug I have is behind you. And there we go. And I'm gonna set that one high. It's already set. And then I'm gonna clean up. But that's the soup. I enjoyed the actual recipe later, but doing it in the crock pot worked last time. I'm hoping I didn't add too much liquid. I think I'm fine though. It does need liquid. And we add cheese, so it'll thicken up by itself, but I think I'm good. Oh, I'm gonna make coffee, and I was gonna pick a cup. We have a lot of cups over here, but I think I'm gonna use this one. Okay, so I'm pulling it out. Cup. We, again, have not been to Batu, but we have this cup that Krista found online. So I'm gonna use that for my coffee this morning. I haven't read any of Brotherhood, but we finished Bad Batch last night, and that show was so good. I saw Adventurous randomly showed up. Like, it was just so well done, and I love all of the Bad Batch characters. Like, there's so many good arcs, and there's so many sad things. It was so well done. But we did finish it. We started very briefly Tales from the Empire because we hadn't watched it yet. So that came out last year. It's like 6 mini-sodes. 3 of them are for Morgan Elsbeth from Ahsoka, and then 3 of them are for Barriss Offee, who was a Padawan when Ahsoka was a Padawan. And so they have episodes. We watched the first one of Morgan Elsbeth, and then we went to bed. It was already pretty late, but I just like can't believe we finished Bad Batch. It was so good. I do plan to read some today. It is a little before work, so I might be able to read like a chapter or 2 after I make coffee, but I do have to clean this up, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm very excited to read it. I'm even wearing my Clone Wars shirt that has Obi-Wan and Anakin. This is Maul and Savage. I wore this in the last video because it has Maul and Savage on it, but I love this shirt. So I'm just wearing it today, even though it's a little warm out. Well, it's warm in my office. It's not exactly warm out. It's very wet out. Very Camino of it. But I need to clean up. So I will talk to you about the book later. But Bad Batch was so freaking good. There also might be some Bad Batch things in this because Krista was like, I bought you a couple things because we finished Bad Batch. As like little Star Wars surprises. So I may be opening some Bad Batch theme stuff in this video, even though I'm not like reading anything Bad Batch, but just the show was so good. But yes, I have to clean. So talk to you later, Gremlins, when I have a clean kitchen and some book updates. Hello, Gremlins. It is the end of my workday. I actually need to get changed, so I do have a book update for you. So I read a teensy bit before work, and I read some at lunch. So I am on chapter 22, so I have a little less than 200 pages left of this. It is so good. So this is set definitely like Clone Wars the show time period. So in this, Obi-Wan is being sent, I already like gave you the synopsis, but Obi-Wan needs to go on a diplomatic mission to the place that I have a horrible time pronouncing. It's here. It's oh god. Cato Nemodia? So he's going on that mission by himself because there was an attack and Dooku was like allowed to listen in on the transmission they were doing, and he was like, Palpatine should come, and Palpatine was like, I will go, and the Jedi were like, that seems unsafe. So Obi-Wan kind of came up with a plan where he would go himself in just a regular ship, not even like a Jedi ship, like it's kind of a crappy little transport ship, to go and investigate. Oh, my battery does need charge. I knew it would. I will be quick. While that's going on, Anakin is dealing with younglings consistently, and like Palpatine wants these younglings to go on a mission, but we've also met a youngling who has issues with the Force. So the issue is she feels too much when she's connected to the Force. She keeps trying to cut it off, and she's a Zabrak, which is really cool because I don't know that we've met like any female Zabraks. Maul is a Zabrak. That's why I'm like, oh, I don't remember there being any women. There have to be because they have Zabrak children, but you know, haven't seen one. So that's very cool. I'm really loving the book so far. We're getting Padme and Anakin's relationship, which is wonderful because they're already secretly married. But I'm just having a great time with this. I'll talk more when my battery is more charged, but I'm just loving it so far. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's really cool seeing all of these characters, and I'm just picturing Clone Wars in my head. But we're going out to dinner, even though Krista does not feel great. She really wants to try this dish at a place, but I gotta charge you. So maybe I'll bring you, maybe not. I'll talk to you about it after or tomorrow morning. I will talk to you when I have a charged battery, gremlins. Good morning, gremlins. I'm debating if I'm putting makeup on or if I'm not. I don't know. I am wearing my very cool Tano shirt. This, I don't even know if you can still get. I got this forever ago. I even have the matching outfit on a Stitch, I think they're called New Emos. I literally, like, I had this shirt and saw that they made a, like, little version. And I was like, I need it. And we had a Disney store, like, an hour away at the time. We don't anymore. And so I got Stitch and put him in the little shirt because it was like a little set, and I was like, ah. So I have one. I don't really do much with him. He just like hangs out with my Ahsoka Tano lightsabers, but it's cute that he and I have a matching shirt. Maybe when Krista and I aren't seeing the Stitch movie until it comes to streaming, but it looks kind of cute. Anyway, back to Star Wars related things. I am currently making coffee. You can hear it, I'm sure, in the music in our living room, but my camera was dying, so I didn't really tell you much. So the book is really interesting so far. Obi-Wan is on his Nemodia journey. Anakin is doing some stuff, but also with younglings. We're getting a few different perspectives. I'm really enjoying it so far. Like, I can totally picture it as Clone Wars, like I'm seeing that in my head. But on top of that, Asajj Ventress has showed up. I think I mentioned that. We also got a Zabrak youngling, which was surprising for me, because I just did not think Zabraks were around a lot, because Maul is a Zabrak. Again, if I mentioned this stuff, I don't remember because I was talking so fast. Let me see. Yeah, it is really interesting so far. I just like, I'm very like caught up in the story. Also, Dax, who runs the diner, he is in this a ton as like not news, like an info guy. And in that Padawan book, there is a Dax mentioned. So I'm assuming it's the same guy. These are not connected books, but I'm assuming Christian White like included him because of like his appearance and stuff. I love his diner. I would eat at Dax's diner all the freaking time. I love a diner. I love a breakfast food. He eats a lot of cake at a certain point, and I was like, what? It's very funny. But they have calf. So in my Darth Maul book, I went on a long rant about one of the books consistently, it's the last book I read in that vlog, consistently calling coffee, which is not canon. Coffee is not called coffee in Star Wars, it's calf. It's always been calf. And that book was like coffee. And I was like, this is slowly killing me. I love coffee, but when I'm reading a Star Wars book, immediately saying coffee, I'm like, this is not a Star Wars book. Like, it just like throws me out of the story completely. I think because I love coffee so much. But I was just like, I'm gonna push a button. I'm still here. Can I? We'll just come over here. Hi. So yeah, so they just kept saying coffee and drove me up a wall. Oh, hi. There's a Binks in a box. There's stuff everywhere. Chris is doing home reno projects and we don't have a lot of storage space, so like all the home reno stuff is in our kitchen, and occasionally the cats just like sit on it, which is lovely. But yeah, I'm just using the wrong word for coffee will throw me completely out of the story apparently, and I was just so annoyed. But they use calf all the time in this. They've used it like 4 or 5 times. Anakin and Palpatine had calf. Dax and Kenobi had calf. People be drinking calf. I'm making calf right now. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It just feels so Clone Wars. Like, it just feels so much like the show. And I'm getting the Obi-Wan and Anakin from the movie too. Like, it's all just like so well done. I'm really enjoying it. The mystery of Nemodia is key, and Anakin is connected to it now because of some stuff. I won't tell you what, but it is interesting. I'm trying to, oh, we went to dinner last night. So we went to this fancy restaurant called Wise Guys, and it was really good. Krista she really wanted to try this halibut, oh my gosh, piccata, halibut piccata. And so she tried it. She said it was fine. She wanted it to have more sauce and it didn't. I got this thing called the D'Angelo, which was like these little dumpling pastas with scallops in this like incredible cream sauce. Oh, and there are mushrooms. It was so good. So my pasta was really good. We got cheese bread in there. Cheese bread was incredible, which is a weird thing to say about a fancy restaurant, but they're also like a pizza, like it's pizza and Italian food. And so we're gonna try pizza next time because our cheese bread was so good. What else did we have? Oh, Krista got a panna cotta at the end, but I hate squishy desserts. They were like, oh, and a panna cotta, and Krista looked so excited, and I was like, yeah, no thank you. I was like, I will finish drinking my wine. So I got wine. Krista does not drink when we go out because she is the driver. And I got a cab, which was delicious. It was their house cab. It was not expensive, and it was very good. But I had 2 glasses of wine, which I normally don't do, but it's the house wine, so it wasn't wildly expensive. And also, like, I had all of it before our food because everything was like staggered out really far, and I was like, I am done with my wine and I don't even have pasta. But yeah, it was nice. Like, it was a really nice dinner. We'll probably go back again to try the pizza. So that's fun. But we got home so late because it's a half hour away, and then our reservation was at 6, and like food took a while to come out, and so we didn't get home until like after 8 o'clock. And then we just brought Parker up with the girls. So we have 4 dogs, but Parker at night sometimes gets a little grumbly with our other male dog, Bruni, who is not a Rottie, and he like pokes at him. And so Bruni hung out downstairs, which he's totally fine with. He had the whole living room. He gets the whole living room. He was sleeping in Parker's dog crate. Like, he had climbed into it himself because we left it unlocked, and I came down to like give him some treats before he went to bed, and he was asleep in a crate. And I was like, Bruni, you can sleep on the couch. And he was like, I am comfy. And I was like, okay. But they get along typically. It's just at night, sometimes Parker like can't tell what Bruni's doing in the dark because like Bruni moves in his sleep a lot, and so it just like stresses Parker out. So it's a whole thing. So we like rotate when the boy dogs come up, just because Bruni gets stressed and Parker gets stressed. They're fine. They just like stare at each other, or like Parker will bark a lot. But Parker got to be up last night, so we watched a ton of Spring Baking Championship because they took, so on Max we were watching Holiday Baking Championship with Parker because he's obsessed with that show. I don't know why. He like, it soothes him. Max took it off their app. Like, it's just gone. So we're watching Spring Baking Championship because that's the only one I could find. And I'm like, why did you take the show? So yeah, so we were watching that, which not even all the episodes are up. So we only have 1 episode left, and then the finale's not even out yet. So I don't know, it's gonna work. I'll have to apparently see if we've seen the older episodes or rotate through those maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so that's the Star Wars update and life update from yesterday. I do need to get ready for work. I was making coffee. Oh, I have so much coffee in that cup. It's very full, but I need coffee. I just made the same coffee as yesterday, and I actually washed out the mug from yesterday. I'm just using that again because our drying racks are really full right now. So I was like, I'm not trying to balance that Batu cup, so I just washed it really fast. But yeah, today we're eating that soup. So I will show you the soup that I was making yesterday. It's blended and stuff, but we were gonna eat it for dinner, and then we wound up going out. So we're having it for lunch today. So I can show you that later, but I'm gonna go because I need to get ready for work. Well, get to work at this point. Yeah, I think that's everything. I will update you. The goal is to finish Brotherhood today. Krista has court, so I'm hoping I can finish it while she's at court, or possibly during lunch while we're eating soup. We shall see. But I do want to finish it today because I have another book to start. So I will talk to you later, gremlins. Yes, there's a cat in the sink. He's being weird. Hello, gremlins. It is the end of my workday, and I did manage to finish Brotherhood during lunch. So the end of this was so good. This truly leads up to like the Clone Wars show. So in this, the Jedi are already saying like there are clone troops. We lead them, but they don't have their armor, like the general armor that Jedi Knights get. So in Clone Wars, they all have like pauldrons and like certain things that they have to wear over their Jedi robes. They get fitted for that at the end of this. So this is like very definitely build up to Clone Wars the show, because they're getting outfitted. Though the clone troopers have already existed, it's just like that, it feels like that is where we are. Is just like right before everything like turns into full-on Clone Wars. I already mentioned we got a Saj. She did even more stuff throughout the book, which was wild. I loved the little Padawan, Mill. I feel like, yeah, it's Mill. She was just like so interesting to follow, and it sets up the idea that Anakin could get a Padawan, which I thought was delightful because he gets Ahsoka right at the start of Clone Wars, like the show. That's when she's introduced. She's a new character for Clone Wars. And Obi-Wan just keeps being like, oh yeah, you could totally have a Padawan. And I'm like, ooh, ooh, I love this. There's also a lot of hints about Obi-Wan maybe having figured out that Anakin and Padme are not just friends. Ooh, can I do that? Friends. Oh, it sort of worked. So I'm trying to use my hand like I normally would to like get it used to moving. And I haven't been able to do air quotes, but I did it! Air quotes. Sorry, I'm very excited about that. But they're more than just friends. But he doesn't really bring it up. He says he's gonna talk to Anakin about it, and I was like, you won't. There's also a lot of mentions of Satine. So if you haven't watched Clone Wars, Satine is currently like the ruler of Mandalore, but Mandalore is a peaceful planet at the moment, and she and Obi-Wan have a history, and there are like hints of him being like, perhaps I could have done that differently. And I'm like, ooh, Obi-Wan, yes, you could have. That would have been lovely. But yeah, so that was very fun. What else happened in this that I thought was really cool? I don't know. The book overall was just like very good. We were following different points of view, different stuff was going on. Like it just felt so Clone Wars-y to me, and it just filled that like, I want to watch Clone Wars itch. Also, I feel like the shirt was appropriate. I'm using it in the thumbnail with this book, but I just really, really enjoyed that. Like that was so far the best book that I've read in this. Also going to say probably my favorite Star Wars book I've read so far for this. I have enjoyed other books. I have a quote that I absolutely adored from the Revenge of the Sith book, and that one was really fun. But like this one is the top. So Aaron, you did it. You picked the best one. I am very excited I read this. I also can now introduce, ooh, wait, I'm gonna show you my Padawan. Hold on. Ta-da! Told you, a little matchy-match Stitch. It's slightly different. They did change it, so it says Star Wars instead of Tano, which I kind of wish it said Star Wars, but it is at least the like Star Tours logo sort of on him. So that's this, but it like the sleeves match. I'm not wearing orange pants or shoes right now because I don't wear shoes in my house unless I absolutely have to. But I really like these little orange pants. They're very cute. So this is my faux Padawan. I took a very difficult photo with him earlier during like a brief window of time. I tried to sit him on my shoulder and he kept falling off, but he's very cute. I'm gonna pop him back up with my sabers behind the droids over there. He'll go there. I do have a Grogu. Like I just like the toy Grogu, like the Hasbro toy that doesn't move, doesn't have feet. I really like him. He's hanging out over here. I'm gonna have to unearth him. He's currently wearing an Ahsoka headdress. Yes. He may come out this video, I think. Possibly tomorrow. I feel like maybe having him out tomorrow would be fun. But as I have finished Brotherhood, and yes, I am a little flushed. I don't know why. My office is a little stuffy. I feel like I should have opened my window today, but it is what it is. At this point, I'm just finishing up like talking to you, but I'm like work is over. So there's no point in me opening it now because I won't be in here. But as I finished Brotherhood and added it to my list of books for the year, I don't track that anywhere. So like if you're trying to find me on like Goodreads or Fable, I did get Fable and then heard some very weird stuff about it in like wrap-ups. I don't know, but now Kayla has said that her book club is on there, so I don't know. I'm just like really bad at tracking things in apps, and sometimes I'm like, I don't do star ratings, so people will just get like a review, and sometimes I don't want to leave a review. Like if I don't enjoy the book, I'll say I didn't enjoy the book, but I don't want to write it anywhere. I don't know. That's just a me thing. But we're on to the next book. So again, I just track in a notebook over here what I read for the year, and then I don't post it anywhere. I just kind of like circle ones that I really, really enjoyed, and I write like where the book came from, and that's really it. I'm kind of tracking more like where I'm reading books from this year, just so I can include it like at the end of the year or whenever I decide I want to talk about books I've read. Also, I definitely rubbed my eye at some point because I feel like there's a bunch of eyeliner right there. But we're on to the final book of this vlog, which is Kenobi! I won't say it like that every time, but this is set after the prequels. So let me give you a brief synopsis from the summary. Tatooine, a harsh desert world where farmers toil in the heat of 2 suns while trying to protect themselves and their loved ones from the marauding Tusken Raiders. A backwater planet on the edge of civilized space. An unlikely place to find a Jedi Master in hiding, or an orphaned infant boy on whose tiny shoulders rests the future of a galaxy. Also his sisters, but okay. Known to locals only as Ben, the bearded and robed off-worlder is an enigmatic stranger who keeps to himself, shares nothing of his past, and goes to great pains to remain an outsider. But as tensions escalate between the farmers and a tribe of sand people led by a ruthless war chief, Ben finds himself drawn into the fight, endangering the very mission that brought him to Tatooine. Ben, Jedi Master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, hero of the Clone Wars, traitor to the Empire, and protector of the galaxy's last hope. Also, Leia can no more turn his back on evil than he can reject his Jedi training, and when blood is unjustly spilled, innocent lives threatened, and a ruthless opponent unmasked, Ben has no choice but to call on the wisdom of the Force and the formidable power, or the wisdom of the Jedi and the formidable power of the Force in his never-ending fight for justice. I don't like that Leia is just not mentioned, but I guess she's not on Tatooine. That's fine. Oh, also, this is a correction from my last clip. Do not ask me why I called him Dax. His name is Dex. Dex, the guy with the diner, is Dex. Do not ask me why in my brain I was calling him Dax. I don't know. I feel like it's from something else and I just like superimpose the names, but his name's Dex. So sorry about that. But that's the next book. I am gonna start it sometime tonight. Not sure when I'll finish it. Hopefully I'll get this done pretty quick. It's not huge. I think it's bigger than the last one though. Oh, the font is big though. So wait, hold on. There we go. There's a clip for another book in here. Yeah, this always throws me off every time. I'm not reading. 362 is how many are in the actual like story itself. So yeah, we'll just see. I would like to get this done well, definitely not tonight, but like Friday, Saturday, that'd be nice. And then I can switch over to my next set of books. I have everything in like stacks of 3 for the most part. So yeah, I'm gonna cough, so I'm gonna go, but I will talk to you later, gremlins, when I have updates. Oh, coughed anyway. We did have soup for lunch. It was very good, very, very spicy. I don't know what happened. The last batch wasn't as spicy and I feel like I did everything the same, but soup was spicy. Good. I didn't show you it because Krista got home at kind of a weird time, and so she started heating up stuff while I was finishing up stuff before I could go to lunch. So I just forgot to show you the soup. We're having it again tomorrow, so you'll see it then. But I will talk to you later, gremlins. Good morning, my dear gremlins. It is a little bit before work. Actually kind of a lot of it before work. I guess I thought it was later than it is, but it's earlier than I thought. I'm here in my Mandalorian shirt. Behold. It has cool sleeves. Various helmets. Is it different ones? No, it's the same ones on each side. And I borrowed Krista's Mandalorian cup because it matches my sweatshirt. But I probably look a little bit like a hot mess. I'm super tired today. Even though I didn't stay up super late. Sorry, now I'm just messing with my hair because it's bothering me. But here we are for my update. I did start Kenobi, but Krista's court schedule, like she had court last night and I didn't actually get a ton of reading done while she was at court because I was doing like house stuff. I made cookies. Oh, now I look like, whatever. My hair looks even crazier now. But I was like cleaning the kitchen and I made cookies. Yes, I can do all that with my hand like this. I just hold it in the air a lot. But I did read a hunk of this last night. I got to chapter 25, which is part of part 3, The Bright Center. So I have about 160 pages left, and this is 362. This has picked up, so I'm gonna put it down so I can gesture. But I started it, and it's really not about Obi-Wan for a hunk of it. So in it, we get to Tatooine and like there's a prologue where obviously Obi-Wan is there with baby Luke. It is bothering me so much that Luke is like the chosen one. And I'm like, there were 2 babies. Am I reading, like, this is young Obi-Wan. So obviously I know the prequels, but this is written like it's supposed to be a prologue to the original trilogy where they didn't decide Leia was his sister right away. That's why they kiss, because they were deciding, or something along those lines. I'm not like a George Lucas expert. I'm just saying I'm very sure they like altered that a touch, but she is not mentioned in this at all, even though Obi-Wan is aware of her, but whatever. The prologue is him getting to Tatooine with Luke. A bar brawl basically breaks out and then he leaves. So that was random. And then I am trying not to cough. I'm gonna cough. I'm gonna try and take a sip of coffee and fight the cough. Hold on. Then we like time jump, but I don't know how much. Probably very little actually, because we don't know anything about Luke. We're not around Luke. Obi-Wan has been told to avoid Luke at all costs, so he is not near the Lars family. What we are at is an area of Tatooine that consistently is attacked by sand people or Tusken Raiders, and we learn the backstory of why they're called Tusken Raiders. There's a Fort Tusken, and there's like a particular Tusken Raider that this man is obsessed with. So there's like an alert system that's been set up. There's this guy selling the alert system, though he's probably in hock to Jabba. There's just like a lot happening that is more like focused on this like settlement in Tatooine, and like Obi-Wan has met a woman named Annalene, I think that's how you say it, who has 2 children. She's a widow, and she runs this like basically general store, but like general store in that she has to carry everything because it's really hard to get stuff on Tatooine. And so like he meets her and ultimately is involved in like the saving of a life, a whole bunch of stuff. But like everyone is so like, ooh, who's this attractive man? Ooh, who's this attractive man? Who's this attractive man? Over and over again. And then like someone finds out his last name. So they find out that he introduces himself as Ben, and then he's trying to be like, it's just Ben. His name is Ben. And someone figures out that it's Kenobi. And so like, then he gets annoyed because he was like meditating by talking out loud. And I was like, oh, because we get these like meditations that are kind of a recap of a chapter you just read that Obi-Wan was involved in, but it's Obi-Wan talking to Qui-Gon because he's supposed to be trying to learn how to talk to Qui-Gon. But I didn't realize he was talking out loud. I truly thought he was like, and just like saying it in his mind. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I would also talk out loud, but I was just like, what? You were talking out loud in your cave home? So like that's going on. There's been like an attack involving the Tuskens, and a death occurred with like a Tusken basically child, but their numbers are low, so like everyone is in a raiding party. It feels a bit like how in Boba Fett, the series, they try to sort of humanize the Tusken Raiders for us, the Sand People, because in previous things, the Sand People do what they do, like take Anakin's mom. And that sort of kidnapping, sorry, kidnapping, can I finish? Okay. That sort of kidnapping is common. Like it's part of their society because they like don't know what else to do. Like their numbers get low and then like, we take a people, and they like take regular people. We also learned that there was some kind of Jedi in the Sand People society, I guess. There's just like a lot that's like thrown at you. And while in the last book there are lots of points of views, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and some of it I'm like, I do not care. This one it's holding my attention more now, but it was taking a while. And I even told Krista, I was like, they're doing the thing that, and again, this existed before the Boba Fett series, but I was like, they're doing the thing from the Boba Fett series where I have to like be with the Sand People, and fine, but like it's not particularly interesting to me. And like I like this plot with the storekeeper because she's a widow, but she's been widowed for a little while, and she totally has a thing for Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan might have a thing for her, and he's not a Jedi technically anymore, so like he could get with her, but he's not going to because no one says he got with anybody. So I'm just like, it's like parts of it are fine, but also like it's really just Obi-Wan being on Tatooine and this entire establishment on Tatooine being like, hey cutie, what's up? And it's fine. It's just not holding my attention. And it's really pissing me off that he has yet to mention Leia. Like, in any capacity. Just like, I have the son and the daughter. Like, he could mention the daughter. Once. But anyway, I will finish it. I'm not as invested in it as the other ones. And I just like rambled at you about things that are happening in it. I've been trying not to like spoil stuff. And even with all that rambling, you wouldn't be spoiled because there's so much random stuff happening in this. But I want to finish it. It might just be, and like, the other thing that's happening is Brotherhood, when it's a different point of view, it's at the top of the chapter. And this, sometimes it switches, like who you're with. No indication that you're with someone else. You just have to go with it. So, I don't know. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it today is my goal. Krista has court again, but I'm going to try and read a little before work because, again, it is earlier than I thought. And then I'm going to read at lunch. So the plan, sorry, is to finish Kenobi today so I can start my next TBR because I have a trip to plan for. Like, and we have a big thing happening next week. Like, we're going to see a show, like a Broadway show, traveling. We're not going to New York City. We're seeing it like an hour away, but I'm really, really excited for it. And it's not Star Wars-y, so there will be a brief interlude. And also I'm traveling. So like, I think I may make that like its own separate thing and like bring a Star Wars book along. But yeah, I don't know. I'm taking a sip of coffee. But yeah, so I just don't know. Cause like, if I start this one, it'd be great if I could just like finish the next TBR before we get to the 17th, where like everything kicks off into like seeing the show, traveling, trip, where I can bring a book, but I don't want to bring a library book. And the only non-library book I have in the stacks right now is, like, I have one. I'm so sorry, I'm coughing. I'm tired, my asthma's acting up. But yeah, so I have one over there that I can bring, but that means I have to finish a whole other little stack before I get to that one. So I'm gonna try. I need to get this done today. I need to start the next TBR, and then I can just bring that book with me to read if I even have time. Because we have some other stuff. I just don't know that I'm getting to it yet, but I need to go so I can read. I'm rambling at this point because I'm like, I have stuff I have to do. I really do. Like, I have to get a bag together and like find all my stuff. And so for the show we're going to, I already know what I'm wearing because I'm very excited about it. But I have like a fancy thing to go to one of the days of the trip that I'm going on, and I have to figure out what I'm wearing. And I need to like go through Krista's closet, my closet, because I basically need a dress. Like, I need a nice dress that is appropriate for a fancy event. So yeah, and if you can tell by all of the sweatshirts and cozy wear, I don't wear dresses very often. But yes, I'm gonna go. I will talk to you later when I finish Kenobi. I'm not talking to you till I finish this book. Oh, also I made cookies last night because Krista really wanted them. They're dark side cookies. I've made them in other vlogs. They're they're Betty Crocker double chocolate cookies. They're delicious and exceptionally easy. It's literally just the cookie mix. I basically melt the stick of butter, even though it's soften. 1 egg and a tablespoon of water, and they're really, really good. But I made them yesterday because she really wanted them, and I was like, I have time, I can do it. But yes, I'm gonna go though. I'm gonna read. I will talk to you when I finish Kenobi Gremlins. Oh, maybe I'll throw in a fun little added end of video cute Star Wars thing. All right, talk to you later. Hello, I'm on the floor. It is after lunch. I have finished it. I did it. I finished Kenobi. So the ending does get us a very karmic, almost Twilight Zone-esque ending. If you've watched Twilight Zone, there are a lot of stories where someone gets their comeuppance for certain behavior, and it's normally like their exact fear. This kind of happens in here. This is, while Ben does get a much larger part as the story evolves, this again is a story about the Sand People. It really is about the Sand People and how they're being treated, what is happening to them in Tatooine. I do think if I had read this without having seen the Boba Fett show, it would maybe feel more nuanced to me, but the fact that the Boba Fett show exists and then this, and I'm reading this now, though it is older, I just don't, like, it didn't feel as like new and interesting. There is a curious thing with a reveal of a sand person's being. Their identity is a little bit different. And like the story itself kind of has a romance that is not going anywhere because it's Ben and a woman, and he has a mission. I also think, so she tells him like to keep his hood up to protect him from the sand, and he keeps pulling it down, and I'm like, is this to explain how you aged so quickly? Because I like, he's not even supposed to be that old, I don't think, by the time we get to the original trilogy. Oh no, I'm gonna cough real bad. I can feel it building. 1 sec, I will be right back. Same spot, same location. Give me 1 sec to cough. Okay, hi, I'm back. Sorry, I really had to cough. I can't tell if I'm getting sick or getting over being sick at this point, because asthma. But anyway, yeah, the romance, it just, there are mentions of the Lars family, and they do point out like, oh, the Larses had a baby. But yeah, it is a lot more subterfuge, drama. Oh, you can totally see my scab. There's a tiny scab on my middle finger still. And just like, it's a lot of drama, and like, there is a villain. Like, there is a villain eventually presented. Just, it wasn't really what I was going for, but they correctly called it calf, so I can't fault it for that, I suppose. Just because I'm like, everything. And that one Darth Maul book saying coffee every time has like very, very much made me be like, do they call it the right thing? But yeah, so it was fine. Not my favorite. I just like, it was fine. I am still a little annoyed he makes no reference to Leia existing, even for us, like as a reader, because we know Leia exists. Overall, it was fine. Just not my favorite. And the other fault it has going against it is the Obi-Wan show also exists, and that show is incredible and has Leia in it, and this was not that, which is not its fault because the children are older in that. So Obi-Wan has been on Tatooine longer. But see, I'm trying not to cough too much. I need to get more to drink. I might just make more coffee because I'm cold, even though I shouldn't have more coffee. I normally try not to drink too much coffee after lunch, just so I actually drink water, but I'm cold and I don't want to drink tea, so coffee it is. But I did want to show you fun stuff because I didn't pull down Grogu. He's coming out in the next video because I'm actually starting the next video tonight. Like, I will finish this video and then start the next one. So yeah, but wanted to show you fun stuff, but I'm not taking it out of the boxes because I'm really afraid I'm going to lose stuff. So this is the thing I was talking about in a video. So we love Rebels, and there we go, there, it's stopping. And so there was like a sale on Walmart.com at a certain point, and you could literally get the Ghost for $5. Now we also have a full price the Ghost, but this one is the $5 one, and I know this because I remember bringing it directly into my office because, so this is the Ghost, and then we found, this is the one we found first. So Krista found this online, and this is Phantom. This is the Phantom shuttle, and this has Ezra and Chopper, and Chopper does not come with the actual Ghost, which I think is intentional to make you buy other ships, because you get Zeb and who else? Yeah, Zeb, Kanan, Sabine, and Hera, but no Chopper. Oh, I'm gonna cough again. I definitely need something to drink. But this one has Chopper and Ezra, who do not come with this set. Now, these are all supposed to nest, so like there are spots to tuck these into each other, and I am terrified to do it. I think I'm gonna have Krista help me so I can actually set it up, because we haven't set it up yet. It's just been hiding in my office. And then we were out getting random stuff, like grocery shopping or something, and we happened to go by the toy section in Walmart. We don't always buy toys at Walmart, but like this just happened to pop up. It's the Phantom 2 with blinded Kanan and Chopper, and this is also supposed to fit into the Phantom, or into the Ghost. So like, I think I understand how it goes in, but like I don't, there's so many pieces. Like there's little people and there's pieces, and I just don't want it to like break. But I do want to set it up before the end of the month because I want to have it somewhere to like look at, though I have no idea where I'm gonna put it. But I just wanted to show it because it's like so cool, and it's really neat, I think, that it all like tucks together. Like this turns into like the full ship. Now, Amazon had like a wildly expensive version that came with like other ships that didn't attach. It was just supposed to be like a set. But like, I just think this is so cool. I want to show it off because it hasn't gotten shown in anything because it's been sitting in a corner. And I like showed my collection at another part and I was like, oh crap. That's not over there. But I need to set it up. Maybe this weekend I can convince Chris to help me because it's a lot of little pieces and I'm just terrified I'm going to drop somebody and like lose them forever. Like I'll lose a Kanan or a Chopper. I would be devastated if I lost a Chopper. So yeah, so there's that. But I will say Kenobi was fine. I know this wasn't like the Star Wars-iest episode I have done just because we didn't watch as much Star Wars stuff in this one, but we have plans to watch more. It's just Krista's schedule is really busy this week, so it just didn't quite work out. But let's see, I read Padawan, I read Brotherhood, and Kenobi. Brotherhood was definitely my favorite, and I highly, highly recommend it. It was so good. So I appreciate that Erin suggested it on her channel a while back because it was incredible and I loved it. So yeah, but I really think that's it. I do have 2 more Star Wars TBRs planned for this month. I may add in another one if I have time, but I just don't know. So there are 2 more planned. I'm very excited about them. I am not going to give you any, I'll give you a tiny hint. So I have mentioned the book. There is a book that I'm starting my next TBR with that apparently has a scene in a new short form series that came out for May the 4th from Star Wars. And I want to read the book before we watch it. So yes, that video will definitely have us watching that show that features one of my favorite characters when we get to it. So yeah, I think that's it. Again, if you have Star Wars suggestions, even if I don't get to them this year, let me know in the comments and I will keep a list. Some books I do have on a list already and I just didn't get to them this year. But if you have suggestions for Star Wars books, let me know. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm just throwing that out there because I always forget. At ClefGoEverAfter. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe. And don't be surprised when I'm wearing this exact same sweater in the next video, probably. But yeah, I will see you in the next one, Gremlins.